Hello, readers. Ann Artan here. I write the Rain of Sun Cozy Mystery Series. This month, our book club author of the month is USA Today bestselling author Carly Winters. Carly writes fun, small town cozy mysteries, always with a dash of humor and quirky characters. She enjoys spending time with her family and exercising on a Pilates reformer. She likes dogs, wine, chocolate, and wishes Christmas happened twice a year. She's like my type of girl. Hi, Carly.
It's lovely to meet you, Anne.
Yeah, lovely. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been an author, and why did you decide to write in the cozy mystery genre?
Um, I've been an author about 10 years. My husband and I, we live in the Phoenix area. We are part-time as empty nesters. We've got our dog with us. And I decided to write cozy mysteries because I do love a really, really good mystery. But at the same time, I also don't like the gore that often comes with mysteries. So cozies just seem to fit right in with what I like.
Did you grow up like liking to read like Nancy Drew and all
Oh
that stuff, Murder
yeah.
She Wrote? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Those
yeah. And then my mom was also a big mystery reader. So when I was probably reading books that I shouldn't have been reading at a very young age, but I decided that the gore wasn't for me, but the mystery was.
Yeah, I think all of us authors are probably reading things we shouldn't be reading at a young age.
Yeah.
Just think that's normal.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, so the book of the month is The Taurus is Toast. Can you give us an overview of the book?
Sure. The Tourist is Toast. The whole series is the Sedona Spirit Cozy Mysteries. And they take place in Sedona, Arizona. The Tourist is Toast is based on a tour where one of the men falls from the cliffs of Sedona. And my main character, her name is Bernadette. She goes by Bernie. She has opened up this bed and breakfast. Well, she inherited this huge building, this huge house from her grandmother, Ruby, and she was a yoga instructor. Bernadette is. So she knows that she can't afford the house being a yoga instructor. So she opens it up as a bed and breakfast. And she finds out through a series of events that the bed and breakfast is haunted and by Ruby. And so Bernadette is a very straight-laced type A personality. And Ruby is the exact opposite. She's just no holds bar. Rules are for other people. I don't like laws. And so the two of them are forced to solve this mystery of who pushed this guy from the cliffs of Sedona.
Oh, sounds really intriguing. So, Ruby, it sounds like she's quite the character. Is she based on someone you know in real life?
Someone I did know, yes. When I graduated from college in the early 90s, I went to work for this woman named Nancy. And Nancy was like any other woman, was unlike any other woman that I'd ever met. She was in a corporate world, which back then was still a lot of men. And she just plowed through corporate life and like she owned everything. And rules weren't for her. Um, Very few laws were for her. I mean, she applied basic laws to her life, basic societal laws, but rules that had been set for women in the corporate world, she didn't obey them. She just plowed through, and she taught me so much about getting what I wanted and how to do it and how to pretend to be in control of everything and how to pretend to be really confident even when I wasn't. And she was just this huge force of nature, like Ruby is in this book.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I really wish I have a woman like that in my life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was a really pivotal person in my life and very different from any other woman that I had in my life at that time.
Hmm. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Okay,
I
so do
do
I.
believe I do. I've had some experiences throughout my life that I just can't really explain. The most significant one was when I was growing up, and both my brother and I had this experience. We'd hear footsteps down the hall at night, and at first we thought it was just like our dad or our mom or whatever. When we but then I started feeling someone sitting down on my bed in the middle of the night, and I'd wake up and there'd be nobody there. And, we'd get up and I'd say, "Hey, Dad, were you up last night?" He's like, "Oh, no, I slept great. I wasn't up at all." And then it wasn't until years later that my brother and I started talking about it. He's like, "I had the exact same experiences." And then what got even weirder about that is we found out, I don't know if you're familiar with the Donner Party up in Lake
Hmm.
Tahoe. Okay.
Yes.
We found out that their party went right through our property, and apparently a number of people had died there as well. And so my brother and I are 100% convinced that I don't know if it was a Donner Party or if it was, just another random spirit, but
Oh,
yeah, that house was haunted. And it wasn't like a scary haunting. It was like someone was coming in to check on you, or someone was patrolling the house or something like that. It was scary, but it was comforting at the same time, which doesn't really make sense. But when you're that young, it's scary. But looking back now, it's kind of like, that could have been a lot worse.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I used to sense a little girl running around in my mother-in-law's house, her former house. And
Oh,
at the time, I thought it was my sister-in-law. And then now, years looking back at it, and we talk about this, she's tucked up in bed. It's not her running around.
yeah.
Exact same situation. But that one, I felt like was it was kind of like a scary ghost
Okay.
encounter type of scenario. But when I moved into our house now, our first night here, I sensed my father-in-law coming into the master's bedroom, and I was like half asleep, and I was like, "Hey, he's not in here. Go try the guest room," because I knew he was checking in on his son, and my
Mm-hmm.
husband was sleeping in the guest room that night. So not every ghostly encounter is scary, but at the same time, that's the reason why I don't like going to cemeteries.
I know when we moved into this house, our dog, we found out that the gentleman who lived here before had passed away. He'd had a heart attack just right outside the house in the backyard. And when we first moved into this house, our dog, she just like stare at corners, like somebody was talking to her and her little tail was wagging and stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this one, but so far everything's fine. So,
Yep, yep. So, are there any other underlying themes that you explore in your books and your series?
um, yeah, anxiety is explored in this series because, as I said, Bernadette is a very type A personality, and she is overly anxious about everything. She overthinks everything. And so that in contrast with Ruby, who considers nothing before she acts, it's the dynamic, and it's Ruby trying to help her let go of some of that because it's so stifling and so paralyzing. So, yeah, you have the two extremes, and both of them working together to solve mysteries and murders, but at the same time, trying to help uh, Bernie deal with her anxiety and let some of it go.
So, in real life, would you say you're more like Bernie, the main character, or Ruby, the sidekick?
Oh, I'm definitely more like Bernie.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I have been able to let go of some of my overthinking that I tend to do and stuff, and I think that comes with age. It's a lot easier to do that with age. But I wish I was more like Ruby sometimes, but I'm definitely Bernie.
It's funny you said that because it's the same way with my series. I have a grandmother character, no holds bar. She just says whatever she wants and it just all
Mhm.
vomit out. And part of me's part of that series, she does the same thing where she tells my main character, you got to loosen up, you got to be your own person, stop trying to be so good, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I sometimes I wonder, like, are we exploring themes that are relevant to us subconsciously in our books?
I think we totally are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So, where can people find out more about your books?
So you can go to my website, Carly Winter Cozy Mysteries .com, and the this particular series, the Sedona Spirit Cozy Mysteries, is finished. You can get the whole series there for a discounted price. Or I'm also on Amazon, Kobo, Google Books, everywhere that libraries everywhere that you can think of. So you can also get the series there as well.
What are you currently working on?
Currently, I am working on a different series. It's called the Haywood Herbalist Cozy Mysteries, and I'm into book 8 with that. And that also takes place in Arizona in a fictional town called Haywood. And it's about a soap opera star who gets blacklisted from Hollywood. And she ends up in this little town of Haywood where she's trying to hide her true identity. And of course, a bunch of murders happen in Haywood, and she makes some friends, and excuse me, and they find out her true identity. And so she's going through a lot of different things as well.
It doesn't sound like it has a paranormal, ghostly.
It
Yeah.
doesn't. No, it doesn't. If I were to call it anything, I'd just call it a Gen X cozy mystery because you've got the sidekick with the who's stuck in the 80s, with the big hair and the
Hmm.
bracelets and everything and the Valley Girl talk. And then you have this woman who's in her 50s. And yeah, no, if it's definitely not paranormal, it is, I just call it a Gen X contemporary cozy mystery.
So, do your mysteries have a Scooby-Doo gang? A group of people that help her solve the mystery?
Um, she has like, well, in both Sedona Spirit and the Haywood Herbalist, she has her group of friends.
Hmm.
Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't, sometimes they're just providing information. But sometimes, I guess is the answer. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Anne.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.